Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Coaching for Coaches. My name is Anna, and I've created this channel to inspire coaches or people who want to be coaches to either upgrade their expertise, upgrade their practice, or to learn how to put together their business, to learn how to maneuver this business. And so I created a package to coach coaches. The link is below, but I also wanted to alert you to the fact that I now take installment payments. And so I have created a separate website that does that automatically. So that should help a lot of people. I give you all the knowledge that I have accumulated as a life coach during the last 9 years of coaching people of all walks of life, and now on YouTube for 2 years. And this particular audio, I'm going to be very honest and transparent about why you shouldn't be afraid to become a coach. Because many people, I've trained many coaches, by the way, parenthesis here, and also therapists, in a different way. But I feel like a coach, a life coach, has the opportunity to really impact somebody's life in a positive manner. And this is why I'm so passionate about this topic. And so I wanted to share my experience on YouTube specifically. I have a different kind of practice outside YouTube, different kind of structure, but for somebody who is looking to create their business on YouTube, I'm really inspired to record this, and on Christmas Eve, mind you. So I tried to talk myself down, but I'm channeling, as a lot of you know, for everything that I record. And for whatever reason, I feel like somebody needs to hear this. Okay, so Merry Christmas and Happy Holidays if you don't celebrate Christmas. So I'll share my experience and we'll go from there, and I'll have some advice for you. Now, of course, I'll give a lot more advice when we're in coaching one-on-one. But overall, as a general idea, I feel like I have to communicate this to somebody. So 2 years ago, as a lot of you know, like I said, I came to YouTube. Now, this was not premeditated by any stretch of the imagination. In fact, recently I had to look back and see, when I started recording, actually. And I actually started recording for Magic and Miracles in 2020 during COVID, wanting to uplift people, wanting to give them hope. It was a very, very difficult time for a lot of people, for everybody, actually. And I always felt like creating something like this, but I just never got around to it. And like I said, I had my own practice outside YouTube. I really saw no reason to put it up on YouTube until that moment. So I just want to make that clear. And so I would record, but very rarely, very occasionally, kind of like 5 times a year. Okay, until I would say like 2020, late 2021 or something like that, where I became a little bit more, maybe early 2022, something like this. I became a little bit more inspired, for whatever reason, again, to record for Magic and Miracles. Like, the channel always existed, and I had like, I don't know, maybe like 15, 20 subscribers. And it was, more than anything, it was my passion project, something, literally to encourage people to do better in life and to feel better about themselves, and offer my perspective on some esoteric subjects, like the dreams that I would have, etc. I've since taken all of that material off because it just doesn't go with what I've created, as a result, of going the route of explaining things about relationships and specific people, I should say. which I did not anticipate at all that this was going to be the subject of discussion. But a lot of people asked me to talk about it, so that's how it ended up being what it is. And so I have to say something very honest here. I did not, again, premeditate this, side of my coaching business on YouTube. I did not think of this being anything but my passion project. So, like, imagine you have a hobby and you're very good at it and you just want to inspire and encourage somebody. And that's as far as that went. And in late 2022, the coaching on YouTube really took off, like really majorly took off. And I felt like I had such little time to think about what I'm even doing here. And at some point, it became obvious that I'm doing something very important here. And, a couple of times, everybody was very nice, I have to say, very friendly, very encouraging, until I literally started feeling like, some kind of energy of a little bit of jealousy, a little bit of obsession from, just some comments here and there. And I even had a stalker or two that showed up in my house. That was really concerning. That gave me pause. And somewhere around that time, like I want to say late 2023 or something like that. Now, mind you, my channel is famous for like recording audios. That's really my comfort zone. For many reasons, but one, because I channel most effectively this way, and two, this was the way that I coached people off of YouTube, because of the crazy schedules that my clients had outside YouTube. Not everybody, but it was a major tool I used. And so in addition to that, though, like I said, it was never premeditated, and I never really wanted to become visible. Okay. I thought this is my hobby. I'm inspiring people, this and that. Whoever needs to hear it will hear it. I had no agenda whatsoever. I had no agenda of coaching even on YouTube, etc. And so when I realized that I'm kind of like attracting some kind of lots of good attention. I just want to stress this. Lots of really amazing feedback, like mind-blowing feedback. And I realized like I'm creating something good here, but in order to do this adequately, and in order to, if I'm really doing this, let's just say, I need to become visible. I need to entertain this idea of maybe losing some of my privacy, which I did not like that idea. I have major resistance towards that. I've had some experiences, prior in my, with my businesses, with personal relationships, where for whatever reason, people get really obsessed. Let's just say, I know that I have this effect on some people that are not, let's just say, benevolently positioned, okay, is my expression. And, try to do really strange things like stalking and harassing and this and that. And so even though the business was going tremendously well and I was getting a lot of amazing feedback, I was dreading, what I was going to do with this business, because, it was obvious to me that if I wanted to really do this the right way and really kind of celebrate this relationship that I was having with my subscribers, I needed to do things differently. I needed to open up a lot, about my own, story, etc., etc. And, that took me a little minute. It took me a little minute to get used to, because that was not my intention. And because of that, many times throughout, the last couple of years on YouTube, I hesitated, and I was thinking about just not proceeding with coaching, just not coach, just create write whatever I wanted to write, channel whatever I wanted to channel, and just do it for me, essentially. I mean, this is how it all started. And not necessarily, engage in this, what I, kind of like found out that it was a game to a lot of people, a lot of coaches out there, which is why the inspiration for this channel. So I know this is long, but it will make sense, because I'm sharing what I experienced and I want you to benefit from this experience. So I feel like because of this, if I was to do it over, let's just say, I would take this seriously. I would take it seriously. I would have certain protections for my material, which is protected anyway, as per the copyright law, I should say, of this wonderful country we live in. But I would protect it more the way I educated myself in recent months with my lawyers, just, experience in general, okay, the way that this community operates. A lot of it is very unhealthy, very, again, jealousy driven. Everybody sounds the same. And so in my mind, I did have this reservation of, I was aware, that I was like, I suddenly just hit me at some point that I know that I'm not like everybody else, because I made a point of it, since I started coaching, period, like 9 years ago. But I also was aware of it because I am very energetically conscious at this point in my life. I was very aware of the kind of vibration, kind of energy I put into this project, more than any other project that I've ever worked on. And I knew that this energy was going to attract haters. I just knew it. I knew it. It happens all the time when somebody comes up with something that truly works. Somebody does things in a very original way, doesn't copy anybody, and basically is their own show. And I do this in all of my businesses, and I've experienced, people kind of like going against me and harassing me and, copying me, stealing from me, this and that in other like in other businesses. I've dealt with all of that. Now, when it comes to writing in the literary form and the kind of like the construction of the business, like I never had to deal with that in my life. So 2 things I want to say. Don't be afraid of the haters, because even though I contemplated quitting, because of my own concerns for my privacy and having experiences of stalkers and this and that, what I realized at the end of this experience is that what I created is bigger than me, is more important than me, more important than my concerns, if I have the right kind of like structure in place to protect me as a person and to protect my work. And I feel like that will alleviate a lot of fucking drama. In other words, don't hesitate to stand up for yourself. Like, we live in a world, first of all, today, thank goodness, where we have tools of finding the person even who's harassing you online. Unfortunately, I had to deal with this more than once. And people who do this kind of shit are really underestimating, the kind of things that law enforcement can do in this day and age. And I feel like whenever you encounter something like this, don't be intimidated by it. Just go and fucking report it. All right? Because again, it's not the most pleasurable of things, but you'd rather nip it in the bud from the get-go. And if I was to do anything differently, again, is I would go straight to law enforcement and report this harassment. And I've had to do this before, which is why I dreaded it. Until the last minute, because the people who I reported who were harassing me in the past actually got arrested and got into a lot more trouble than they were bargaining for. They were trying to get something out of me. They were trying to do this to scare me, to harass me in every kind of way. And it ended up really brutal for them. And for me, me as a person, I'm very creative, very kind of, one could even say naive in some ways, because I think, everybody just thinks creatively. Nobody wants to harm anybody. Nobody wants to do stupid shit. But the reality is that, there are crazy people out there. Ones that, honestly just need mental help, like mental health professionals. And that just exists. And as a manifestation coach or a life coach, I guess perhaps you could argue with that, but the reality is that I cannot be responsible for every single wackadoo out there who thinks that can get away with some really brutal shit. I think accepting that this is part of the territory, that you're going to have to deal with one or two wackadoos probably in your practice, and getting ahead of the game and protecting yourself, protecting your privacy, protecting, just your environment and your mental state, and reporting that person directly to law enforcement, and protecting your business. That alone can alleviate a lot of drama, like I said, and putting certain protections in place where, I can share this with you in coaching one-on-one. I had like major education recently in legal ways, in all sorts of ways, that $1,000 an hour lawyer gave me, and it's invaluable, completely priceless, as it were. So this is part of kind of like, this is why I created this channel and wanted to encourage, because listen, as long as you are proactive about these situations, and don't just think that everybody wishes you well. They're not. Chances are you're very gifted, you're very talented, you have something of value to give to people. And don't let a couple of losers and horrible people on the internet intimidate you or stop you from doing anything like this. And understand another thing, and this is something, that again also comes with the territory. I mean, it's indisputable. You cannot be invisible. I wanted to be invisible. I wanted to be behind the curtain, and just, coach whoever's going to be in my coaching, but keep a distance. It doesn't work like that. I'm a way better coach on YouTube now than I allowed myself to be even a year ago, because I accepted that, if I want to really do this, if I want to really help people, I have to be visible. There's no other way. I mean, listen, even the people, and I know of some creators that you never see their face. And I kind of like modeled that kind of like business structure initially off of that. And they have like, they don't even have their face. They have some kind of a representation, like a cartoon to represent them, some kind of avatar, and they've made a career off of this, like literally channels that exist right now. But when you're helping people, though, first of all, even if that's the case, people can still find out who you are, where you are, you know what I mean? Like, again, we live in a world where there are no secrets. Like, literally, you can find out anything just off of a username. Even if you delete that account, even if whatever, you completely destroy your computer, people can still find out shit, like where it's coming from, when it becomes, when it crosses over into the criminal kind of deal, the harassment and all of that shit, which cyber harassment is a serious crime, especially when it's done, cross states, like it becomes federal. And I think just owning this, right, the situation of I'm gifted, I have this gift to share with people. And that's way more fucking important than the 2 or 3 losers, again, who are trying to, basically they need mental help. They're not well. And it's obvious they're not well, because who on earth would be acting in these ways and hoping to get away with it. I mean, mind blown is what it is. But owning your situation that you have to be a boss bitch, okay? Or whatever is the applicable word for a male coach. Okay, I'm sure somebody will comment or let me know. You have to be a boss bitch. You have to show up with solutions. And it's not an option to hide, because if you have this talent, if you have this ability to connect with people and to share something that you really are good at, that you really understand, that you're really passionate about, okay, you don't have to be perfect at it. You just have to be you at it. And that's good enough, because a lot of, again, side note here, in addition to this, a lot of people are just afraid that, am I good enough? If the passion is speaking within you, if you're getting downloads, if you're getting ideas, if you're getting aha moments and inspirations and this and that, that alone signifies the fact that you're destined to do that. And that this gift of yours is for you to share with people. And to me, like, that is a way more important thing, because guess what? This nudge that you're getting to even think about becoming a coach, it's not going to go away. It's not going to go away. You're going to be unfulfilled if you're ignoring your purpose. Right? So putting certain protections in place where nobody can fuck you, where you get ahead of the game and don't give people chances after chance, it's not an option. Some people just need help, like mental health help. Like I said, so they don't think the way you do. They're out to harm. They're out to hurt. So whilst you're helping the people that really need, can benefit from your help, you cannot afford to spend your energy or time trying to give somebody a chance who doesn't need a chance. They need a wake-up call. They need a wake-up call of dealing with law enforcement or dealing with lawsuits, of really being held accountable for their actions. That's what it becomes about. It's not for you to waste your energy when your energy is needed with other people. And it's not for you to second guess whether or not you should be doing anything with your passions because of a couple of wackadoos, quite frankly. And I know that this is a concern for a lot of people. I've heard this from my clients, that they were concerned for me. I've received so many weird comments during a specific period of time that really gave me pause, and I was really concerned for my safety during this time. Instead of just, again, jumping the gun and going to the police immediately, I wanted to give this a chance to blow over. It really is, it's still, a concern, not in the way that it used to be. Meaning, it's not a concern that this kind of situation may repeat itself. No, it's not. I know where it came from. But I think for me, it was a profound realization of, I'm doing something right here. This is why this is happening. I'm growing as a coach, and somebody has a problem with that. And it doesn't matter who the person is. I feel like for me, it was a confirmation that I should continue this because of the people that need me, because of the people who I get the feedback that I get from in my coach, because of the results that I bring to people. This to me is far more important than some kind of a crazy person going out of their way to pollute the airwaves with their nastiness, And like I said, it was even more of a encouragement for me to continue this work, to continue, and this time just take myself a little bit more seriously. This is not a side project anymore. This is something that now I'm making plans about. Before, I did not. Not to say that I didn't care again, but I just did not take it as seriously as I should. So my advice to you is take your gift seriously. There's no such thing as a passion project that may not be developed into a career for you. Okay, for me, I already have many different careers outside YouTube. So for me, it was kind of like, well, whatever. I'm just doing this as a, I don't know, public service of some kind of deal, which in the beginning, that's exactly what it was, especially the kind of prices I charged. But to the world, this is significant. And understand, to the world, this is needed. To the world, this is what we need more of. And I feel like as a collective group of, coaches or who want to become coaches and have a genuine desire, a pure desire at heart to help people, we should really understand that that's what is of paramount importance, and not stopping yourself and from shining the light that you have within your heart to help other people. That's the most important thing. Because let me tell you something, not every coach is interested in that. Far from. And I've met some of these, a long time ago, almost 20 years ago now. It was a very disappointing experience. And some of them, they do very well. And they train celebrities and this and that. But it's so obvious to me now, more than ever, having been on YouTube for 2 years, that there are far less coaches that really care about their clients than there are the ones that really do. It's obvious in so many different ways that you can pick up, through their energy, through the way that, and in this community, I have to say that the word, it spreads fast. When you really just lying and portraying yourself as something else, you have a certain persona for the camera, and then another persona in session, or behind the scenes. People are smart. This is one thing that I really realized, which is why I became like, this was the reason for me to stay and continue and to want to do better and better and to make bigger plans for this now. Before, I didn't have bigger plans, but it's the people that really inspired me, the many beautiful, magnificent people, even though they don't think that they are in coaching. Most of the people who come to me, they are people pleasers. They've had trauma, they've had drama, they've had betrayal, they've had heartache and all these kinds of things. Like, they don't realize how much they inspired me to stick around and to want to continue and perfect and do all this shit. Because in my mind, a couple of times I was like, I don't need this. Like, I really can live without this attack right now, So there was a moment like that. But once I realized that, this is creating some kind of a wave of change. It's like, the saying, your spirit irritates their demons. It's very much like that. So be a pioneer, establish your business, come into my coaching if you need help, set it all up, in a very kind of strategic way, very conscientious way, with everything that I can give you in order to protect your business. And it doesn't have to result in a tremendous amount of money. I'm just saying, there's certain things that you can do to alleviate a lot of problems if you really take it seriously. And I advise you that you do. To you, what you're about is regular, is simple, it's ordinary. But to other people, it really isn't. It's just not. On my channel, on the other channel, Magic and Miracles, I allowed myself to go to places, in discussions, that I've never gone before. Never explained things this way, in many ways. And I allowed myself to open up and really go there, And again, it's because I felt this relationship with my audience that they really appreciated it. And they inspired it as well. If somebody asks a question, I have an answer, but this conversation continues on. Definitely inspired just overall the idea of how a lot of people just make it ultra complicated in this coaching business for people to even follow what the fuck they're teaching, or it's borrowed, let's just be polite in quotations, borrowed in in quotations, or mimicking some, repeating this, and it's just dull. And this is why, for me, it was such a huge boost of inspiration to continue building on this, because I feel like this is what people need. And so, my darling, lovely you, whoever you are who's listening, who has this urge of becoming a coach, but with the right intentions, don't let anything fucking spook you. They have nothing on you. When you have the best at heart, you are divinely protected. There's no question. One way or the other, you're going to come out of it even more magnificent, even more victorious. But like I said, I'm offering you a shortcut to establish certain things for yourself before you even start, being afraid that something might happen. And I'm not saying that once in a while, you won't encounter somebody clearly, who needs mental health help. And in some cases, I don't know how to say this, but it's not as obvious, let's just be polite, as one would have liked it to be. I'm not a psychiatrist, in other words, I'm a coach. So there will be those couple of people that will appear a certain way, but they're actually a whole other way inside, which is disturbing and scary. But don't let that stop you to offer your help and support to the 99% of the other people who literally need you right now. And as I discussed before, this market is so wide open for authenticity, it isn't even funny. It's not even funny. Every time somebody sends me something, whatever, or I come across, when I'm watching something on YouTube, it's not even close. As I've yet to see somebody, like the people that I look up to, they don't offer coaching. And I feel like you're one of those people. If you're gravitating towards me, for me, my energy is always to be a pioneer, to do something different, to do something, higher, better, and more elevated. And if you're, kind of resonating with me, there is some of that in you. Okay, let's just say it like that. So why the fuck you would let anybody like that, or the idea of that happening, stop you when you can actually discover your strength? There's a lot of strength and a lot of power in what you can do for people. And that, I cannot explain the kind of feeling that is. It's worth showing up for. It's worth, doing everything for, literally, because there's nothing quite like it. There's no other work that I've ever done in my life that is as rewarding and is as gratifying as coaching people. So I feel like if you take care of the logistics in the correct way, very intelligently, again, if I was to start over on YouTube, I would do things very differently. But again, maybe this is why I had to go through this experience in order to coach others in this department. And this, quite frankly, is invaluable to me. So it all kind of worked out in the end. But taking care of all these logistics is really important, so you can focus on what you're actually good at. Okay, letting your accountant, letting your lawyer, letting your whoever do the problematic work for you, or not problematic, but just kind of like a protection kind of work for you, and learning some things in coaching with me, and then just really concentrating on what it is you need to do. The privacy part also could be handled in many ways. I can share some tips for you. But, at the end of the day, I think, honestly, you just need to get over it. Get over the fact that, you're going to be visible. There's no other way to do any kind of business, especially helping people, and not be visible. There's just no other way. And like I said, some people tried even. I know of a couple of journalists that tried to disguise themselves under, with an avatar and this and that, not show their face. People found out who they were anyway. Okay. So rather than having this resistance of like, I don't want to be visible, let people see you in all your glory. Let them discover who you are. It's not as scary if you have the control of, certain things going awry. Like if you have the control of certain things not happening, okay, it's a lot smoother of a ride than if you just kind of like going into it completely uninformed. And most importantly, if this is your concern, again, everything that I've outlined, remember why something like this might happen. Is because you shine so bright, like I said, your spirit irritates somebody's demons. And I think that's a compliment. That's a tremendous compliment. And please don't have these illusions, that somebody might not get jealous if you're really good at something. Please don't have these illusions that everybody will support you and clap, for you all the way to the top. It's not going to happen. It's not going to happen in any business, not in this one. So having this thicker skin and having that situation in mind, that I'm here for the people. I'm here for the majority of the people that need my help, becomes a very kind of like zeroing in, very healthy perspective, rather than worrying about all this other shit. Everything can be handled if it's kind of like, strategized properly and really thought through. That's what I would say. So do take yourself seriously. Do take your gift seriously. I'm here if you need my help, for sure. I can give you a lot of information and a lot of pointers, like I said. But that you have this inclination, this is your number one sign that you're supposed to be doing this. And whatever you need to work out, even your fear of being an imposter or whatever it is, different people, different stories. This is just, it's not an obstacle for somebody who's genuinely, their head is in the right way, their heart is in the right place. It's just, you are going to be protected, like I said. Thank you very much for listening. All the information for me is below. Until next time. Ciao, ciao.